Penn State, as we guessed, has indeed made the change to one of their more reliable bullpen arms. In fact, the most reliable and consistent arm of the Nittany Lions bullpen, Connor Throneberry, on the mound now. Second appearance this week. He was credited with the win on Tuesday in a high-leverage situation against Pitt. Pitt had just gotten the momentum back off of an error in the top of the sixth, and they tied it. And he was able to rebound and deliver a huge strikeout, flipping the momentum back to Penn State in that game. And then the bottom half of the frame came that 7-run inning to finish things out. So they're down 2 here, but hoping the same thing can happen. And at least for right now, Penn State is hoping Throneberry can limit the damage and turn it back to the other side.
And there's that 12-6 from Throneberry. We were talking about it during the break. Uses a slider grip, but it goes 12-6.
Valencius watches that one low for 2-1. Yeah, heavy reliance on his off-speed, most notably that slider. Does also employ a four-seam, more rare on the split finger as well. But with how often he goes off-speed, he may have to turn to the fastball to finish off hitters.
And if you're going to do that, throw that pitch in the dirt, you still have a runner at third. You have bases loaded. You can't do that. You got to be able to pump strikes in the zone, especially against Vitas Valencius and this entire Illini lineup, who are okay with taking their walks, as we've seen in this inning.
6 walks already for the Nittany Lions. Make that 7, and the boys in orange and blue to continue to come trotting home.
That's now 4 out of 5 runs scored this inning via the walk. And in steps the one guy none of these Penn State pitchers want to see in number 43, Ryan Mormon.
Three of the last 6. Check that. 6 of the last 8 Illinois batters have walked.
What did I say earlier before the break? Unacceptable.
Valencius began this 8th inning rally as that one gets away, although caroming back towards third base. That will keep the runner at bay.
Really good block there by Maloney. That ball bounced in the left-handed batter's box in front of the plate. Maloney did a really good job of keeping that ball in front of him.
Valencius at third, Westcott at second, Janik at first. Again, all have boarded from the walk. That one catches the corner, now 1-2, and Penn State is the closest to seeing the light at the end of the tunnel that they have in quite some time.
Yeah, 1 strike away from finally getting out of this bottom of the 7th.
Instead, Illinois has other ideas. Gapping they go this time. One hopper off the wall in left center that will bring in 1, bring in 2. How about clear the bases? Party in Champaign right now.
What a swing on 1-2, and I'm going to keep mentioning it. Ryan Mormon is the hottest hitter in Big Ten baseball right now. That is his 3rd, 4th, and 5th RBI of the night.
Bases clearing double for Mormon, already with a 2-run home run in this game. That makes him 3 for 5, and a very loud 3 for 5 as well, as Illinois has scored 8 now in the bottom of the 7th. We entered this game talking about crooked numbers. My oh my, have there been a lot of them on both sides.
Well, they got past the crooked numbers and got back to the round number in 8.
And we were just talking about Connor Throneberry being one of the most reliable arms in this Penn State bullpen, and how he was really able to turn the game for them with that strikeout on Tuesday against Pitt. And Mormon really denying him the ability to do so. And you're tempted to say it because of just how it is, it being a 6-run game, but you also have to factor in how this game is gone and how a 6-run game may feel like a 2 or 3-run game. Still, you're tempted to say that perhaps Mormon shut the door instead of Throneberry bringing it back for Penn State like he did on Tuesday.
Yeah, they came into this bottom of the 7th down 2, but if you gave up an 8 spot in any inning, in any point of the game, you are not feeling good.
Illinois has sent 11 men to the plate. Jacob Schroeder, rather, now is the 12th. And out of those 12, 6 have been walks. We can't mention it enough. It is the reason, it is the life in the raft that gave Illinois this game.
I don't think I've ever heard of an 8 spot and half of those runs came via the walk. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Off the end of the bat right there, slow roller to third that Molinaro will take care of. Snagged by Jakonski, and an 8-run inning comes to an end. A lot of walks, a lot of doubles, a lot of restraint and discipline for Illinois that we have known this program to represent over Dan Hartleb's 19 years. 14-8 after 7, a wild 7, as 20 of the 22 runs in this game have come in the last 3 total innings. 2 more to go now. On the other side, Illinois has broken it open. Bottom of the 8th in a whirlwind and roller coaster of a game. It was 2-0 after 4 with Jack Crowder, the Illinois starter, rolling. And then Penn State scores 2 in the 5th to tie it up. Illinois brings it back with 4 of their own in the bottom half of the frame. Then Penn State scores 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th to take the lead 8-6. And since then, all you know what broke loose in the bottom of the 7th with an 8-run frame for Illinois. A lot of it dominated by the walk and by the extra base hit.
Yeah, the Illini, 14 runs in 13 hits. 4 of those runs, like you mentioned, out of that 8 spot came via the RBI walk.
Locating that one right there was Connor Throneberry, still in the game now for the Nittany Lions. And we talked about it a little bit earlier that as that one fouled back out of the stadium, perhaps 2 pitching changes that came a little bit later than Mike Gambino wanted a little bit for Penn State. That one to short, and Cease will take care of Harding.
That was way closer at first base than it should have been for Derek Cease. Harding made that a play on a very routine ground ball to shortstop.
A lot of speed certainly for the Illinois second baseman, and the hesitation in my voice in calling that play proved exactly your point on Harding. And now back to the newfound number 9 hitter in Colton Quagliano, again leading the team in RBIs as your number 9 hitter. And he has been very restrained. He's shown a little bit of the bat tonight, but he's also shown that discipline that you see from the 9 hitter of this Dan Hartleb-led team. And gotten on base a few times, a few walks, a few RBIs as well in multiple forms. And if this role becomes a more permanent one for him, he's certainly adjusted to it already. Fires one there, and that one will be caught in right by Adam Cecere. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, on an 0-2 pitch, that was a really good swing. That was looked like a changeup, like kind of up and in on the zone. Would have fooled a lot of hitters, especially on an 0-2 pitch, but a line drive to right field, and unfortunately just hangs up.
2 quick outs here for the Nittany Lions here in the bottom of the 8th. Now Cameron Chialoy back up for Illinois. 0 for 3 before he had that walk to tie the game for Illinois in the bottom half of the previous frame. And you go back in the tape and you watch that one, how fired up he was, how fired up that dugout was. He just turned around with energy and excitement, probably for a good 5 seconds before even focusing his efforts back on moving towards first. The release of energy and the emotion, and you know, a lot of guys will tend to play with that stoic look on them. You don't see as much the emotion, but when you do, you know a guy has control over it. As that one off the bag, either way, it would have gotten through. You don't see that emotion a lot, but when you see a guy with it, at this level, you know he can control it, and the whole team had it.
I always think having that emotion is good, especially if you can control it. It just adds another level to your game to know that you care so much about what you're doing, and you care what your team is doing, and you care about every single pitch of every single at-bat. And like you mentioned, a lot of players at this level don't have that.
And in time, easily, Illinois hasn't relied a lot on the steal this year, contrary to past years, but then now that makes Chialoy 5 for 6, leading the team in that department.
That is the Illini's 13th stolen base attempt as a team.
And no one has been successful outside of Chialoy and Hazen. Everyone else has been caught when they've tried it.
Well, it's now Chialoy with 6 attempts, 5 for 6. Cal Haza 4 for 5. The only two who even have an attempt, 0 for 1 Camden Janik and 0 for 1 Brody Harding.
You know, you could say that it's a little bit of a departure, but with how front-loaded the discipline is, and for this top of the lineup for Illinois, with how much we've seen it in the back part as well, which has been a staple, of course, with guys like Harding and Haza throughout the history of the team, the recent history, now Harding and Quagliano in this game. They've almost enforced that small ball much stronger in other areas, and they haven't needed to utilize this different part, the stealing, a lot throughout this season.
Well, when you have the discipline of this Illinois team, and you also have the power of this team, the small ball and the stolen bases really, like you said, become a little bit obsolete.
Kyle Hannon will handle things to end the 8th inning, the first scoreless frame for Illinois in probably about an hour's time, if you can believe it.
And only 2 innings.
Certainly. Just a testament to how powerful that 8-run inning was that we can't stop talking about, and for good reason. Either way for Illinois. 14-9, 3 more outs to go in this one on the other side.